Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be covering the topic of pre-nursing. So basically, pre-nursing is your first year of school, and this is when you're going to be taking all of the general credits that you're going to need to get into your health careers program. Please keep in mind that I'm going to keep this video focused on pre-nursing. However, this information could still be helpful to other people. I have friends that are, in pre-med, that are in dental hygiene, physical therapy, and a lot of these same gen eds apply. I don't necessarily have firsthand experience with anything other than pre-nursing. Let's talk about what exactly these classes are that you'll be required to take in your time as a pre-nursing student or a pre-health careers student. So first, let's talk about human anatomy, which will be one of the first classes that you're going to have to take. You're going to have to learn all the different systems within the body and all the different parts that make up that specific system. So, for example, if you were learning about the integumentary system, which is your skin, you're going to be learning about the different layers of cells, the different types of cells. You're going to then later focus on all the bones within the body, memorizing all the muscles. You're going to talk about the digestive system and all the different parts that make up our digestive system. You're going to learn about all the different parts within your eye, within your ear. Like you're going to learn every single part of the body, and you're going to know everything inside and out. This class later sets you up for human physiology, which is, I wouldn't say it's harder than anatomy, but I would say it's definitely a different view. So you're going to take everything that you learned in anatomy and you're going to apply it to physiology. So my professors always explained it as anatomy is the components, physiology is the function. So for example, in your anatomy class, you memorized all the muscles and where they are. But in physiology, you're going to learn about how the muscles contract and how they work with each other. Same with the digestive system, for example. You, in anatomy, learned all the components of the system and all the different parts. But in physiology, you're going to learn how these parts break up, all the things that you are digesting, where absorption occurs, how absorption occurs, etc. Next, let's get into chemistry. This honestly is pretty dependent on what school you go to, but most schools are going to require some form of chemistry. The school I went to required one intro level chemistry class, and another school I was going to maybe apply to required entry level and then the second or the next step up of chemistry. So some schools might require one level of chemistry, some schools might require two. It really depends, but be prepared either way. I was also required to take a microbiology class. The exact title of the class was Microbiology of Infectious Diseases, and this class covered a lot about how diseases are spread, how to prevent the spread of diseases, how viruses work, how bacteria work, what is the structure of their different cell types, all that fun stuff. You dig really deep into that. In the labs, you'll probably do some stains, meaning like color droplets you're going to put on bacteria to try to figure out what type of bacteria it is. And it's just going to prepare you to work in a field that is contaminated with germs and bacteria and viruses. Another class that you're going to have to take will be medical terminology, and you are going to be learning every medical prefix, suffix, word root, combining form, and putting them together. Before you took this course, every medical term you heard probably sounded a little crazy, but when you break it down, it's just a mix of what I just said. A root word, and then you put a prefix or a suffix on it, and it means all these different things. I strongly recommend Quizlet for this class, and just flip through it while you're sitting around at the gym. Maybe I have Quizlet on my phone. That's been really helpful to me. Some people really struggle in this class, some people don't. Basically, it is a ton of memorization. That's all it comes down to. Some other courses that people often don't think would be associated with a career path like this would be sociology or psychology. Depending on the school, again, like I said, you might be required to take introduction to sociology or introduction to psychology or even both. Whether people believe it or not, understanding the human brain and how people work on an emotional level, and just more understanding of the brain and human behaviors is very important to being able to do a good job in the health career field. English is about as basic as it gets when it comes to all college majors, general education. You're probably going to have to take English 1 or Intro to English as a requirement to your school. If you're not a big reader or writer, don't panic too much. I found that in English 1, you're going to write maybe 5 papers the entire semester max, and none of them will be longer than 6 pages, double spaced. So it's not too bad. It's not bad at all. Just stay on top of it and don't save it till last minute is, my best advice for that. If you do have to take a second level English, that one is a little bit more difficult. Because of a previous major I was pursuing, I have taken 2 courses of English. In my second course, I found that it was more research-based, and at the end of the semester, I had a 15-page research paper due, single-spaced. There's no lying, that one was not fun. I did not enjoy that. Math is another course that you're going to have some sort of credit in. Every school is completely different when it comes to math, so honestly, I don't even know how to explain the kind of math that you guys will be taking. Personally, I had to take a course called Health Careers Math, which was basically conversions between pounds and kilograms and milliliters and liters. You learn about IV drip rates, and I'm trying to think of an example problem here. So something along the lines of, you have a patient who weighs 42 kilograms and you are instructed by the doctor to give 5 milliliters of medicine per every pound. How many liters do you give? If that makes sense. So you have to convert kilograms to pounds, and then you have to multiply that by, the dosage, convert milliliters to liters, all that kind of stuff. Honestly, it wasn't too bad, but I have taken math courses in the past. Some colleges require algebra, and the first level of algebra. I would say that would be the other most common course that people would have to take, but your school is going to be completely different when it comes to math, and I'm sorry I cannot be more help there. Some people really hated their time as a pre-nursing student. They felt that it was just more general education that they had to take, and they wanted to just jump right into it, but pre-nursing is really important because your grades in pre-nursing are going to determine if you get into your actual nursing professional program. I really liked pre-nursing personally because it really helped me understand that this is finally what I want to do. If you hate learning anatomy and physiology, that might be a hint oh, maybe this isn't for me. And that's completely okay, because everyone who knows me knows I switched my major twice, and it's not easy, but in the end you gotta find what you want to do. I will post a video later on switching your major because that is something that definitely needs to be addressed. A very common question is, what do I need as a pre-nursing major? And the answer is nothing different than any other major at this point. Don't worry about a pen light, don't worry about stethoscope, don't worry about a blood pressure cuff, don't worry about scrubs, don't worry about any of that until you're in the professional nursing program. For now, all you're gonna need is a reliable computer, because you're gonna have things you're gonna have to do online, you're gonna have homework assignments to submit, things to turn in. If you want to take notes on a computer, that's completely fine. Personally, I like to take all my notes on paper, and I use lots of highlighters and colorful pens to organize my notes so I can go back and find things when I'm looking for them. You're going to need the books and the lab manuals that go along with your class. The instructor will provide exactly what you're going to need, but honestly, that's about it. You're not going to need anything special yet. Is being a nursing major going to ruin your social life? The short answer is no, but it is going to change your social life. You're still gonna have time for friends, you're still gonna have time for boyfriends, girlfriends, you're still gonna have time for family, and you're still gonna have time for you, but it's gonna be a lot of time management and more studying than you've done in the past. I'm not gonna say you're gonna spend your entire life studying, because that's not true. Just whatever you did previously, you're gonna have to step it up for sure. I know I definitely did. honestly, in high school, I really didn't study much at all. And even with my previous major, I didn't study much. And then I started pre-nursing and I studied all the time. Quizlet is going to be your best friend. Don't be afraid to make your own Quizlets. Find a classmate and create Quizlets together. Study off those. Like I mentioned previously, I oftentimes study at the gym, so I'll take my phone with me, and I downloaded Quizlet on my phone, and I'll be, on the treadmill, on the bike, on the elliptical, just flipping through the flashcards that I have on Quizlet. It's a really good way to just keep the information fresh in your head. Don't procrastinate. I know everyone says this about every major all the time, but please don't procrastinate. You will save yourself a lot of tears, I promise you. Hopefully I'm getting a tripod this weekend because, as you can see, I am struggling. Okay, I think that's all I had planned for my pre-nursing video. So if you have comments or questions, please leave them below. It feels so cheesy to say, but subscribe and like if you want to see more nursing education information. Okay.